Hey guys, Packer Rules here, and welcome back to another Disney rant. Back in the day, I did Disney rants. I haven't done one anytime recently, and the last one I actually talking about the Jonas Brothers. Well, at this point, the Jonas Brothers are, actually, I don't know what happened to the Jonas Brothers, but frankly, I don't care. They're not really in the limelight much anymore, so, I'm not going to be talking about them. What I will be talking about, though, is Discoms, the Disney sitcoms. Zack and Cody on a boat. I'm on a boat. Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place, That's So Raven, Cory in the House. Those, basically any live-action Disney sitcom. Now, I've already talked about Hannah Montana's show, and we can all agree that that is genuinely horrible. Her whining about being a rock star. Let's move on to the other ones. Now the problem I have isn't necessarily with the shows themselves, it's the fact that they're all pretty much the same show. Pretty much the same humor, the same group of friends, quote unquote, the same personalities, just transplanted into different series with different, quote unquote, wacky situations and wacky twists. For instance, Cory in the House, a kid living in the White House. Okay, alright. Zack and Cody, a kid living in a hotel. Zack and Cody on deck, a kid living on a boat. You see what I'm saying here? It seems to me that so many of these are pretty much just the same type of show. And, that's what kind of bugs me. There isn't that much time put into each individual show to make it seem unique or different. They all kind of seem like the same generic best friends forever, friendship can save the day, wacky situations that all of these characters seem to get into. And, to be honest, Zack and Cody on Deck, or The Sweet Life on Deck, if you want to go by the actual name, it are kind of some of my guilty pleasures. I watched them when I was a bit younger, and occasionally I'll watch an episode here or there. It's not that terrible. Zack and Cody, those two are definitely higher up on the Disney scale as far as sitcoms go. They're not that bad, but what bothers me is the fact that it all feels like they keep playing the same. They keep throwing the same exact type of show at you. Like, they don't try to have any sort of variety or anything. These are different from the Discoms back in the day, like, Even Stevens. Now, there was a good show, and it didn't feel like the Disney coms feel today. Disney coms today all have the same exact feel. Like, it's hard to explain it, but they all kind of have the same generic feel. Like, they don't put enough attention into each individual show, and making the shows unique. So it kind of feels like they're almost trying to. I don't even know how. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm just rambling, or maybe I've gone crazy after so much ranting. But it feels to me like Disney doesn't care anymore. It has its formula, and it's just gonna do the same thing over and over again. It almost feels kind of like what they did with the Disney direct to direct to DVD sequels that Disney's have been putting out lately. Like Little Mermaid 2 or I don't know, Lion King 1.5, stuff like that. Oh, Lion King 1.5 actually was one of the better sequels. Anyway, it feels like Disney is just kind of and it always has been. It sticks to what it knows, and it keeps repeating itself. It doesn't try anything new, bold, edgy. And I mean, I know Disney's not edgy, except for Gargoyles. But it never seems to try anything. It just seems like, hey, we're gonna put a sitcom about a kid and his two best friends, one guy, one girl, and they're gonna live in this wacky place, or be wizards, or be a rock star, and that's what they're gonna do. And they're gonna have wacky, non-threatening situations. No one's ever gonna get drug abuse. I don't know. Maybe I obviously I can't be expecting drug abuse in a Disney show, but I'm just saying. It feels like with most of these Discoms, they're just a dime a dozen. Cory in the House is such a prime example because it never really made itself stand out from That's So Raven. I don't know, I kind of always felt like it was still That's So Raven, just slight character shift, and obviously they're in the White House. It feels like Disney is just kind of playing on their premise, relying on their premise too heavily. Like, like they're not doing any subtle shows anymore. There's another thing I'm trying to say here, is everything has to be big and overblown. The kids have to be on a boat traveling across the ocean. I don't understand why they can't just make do with what they have, and just do a traditional show, like a quiet sitcom where there's just regular kids. That's kind of one of the things that bugs me. The kids or the teens on the shows don't act like teens. They act like these over glorified, perfect, never get into any sort of trouble except for the wacky, hilarious situation, type of straight edge kids. And again, I know Disney can't be too edgy, but it just seems like they're all so bland. And that's kind of where I'm going with this whole rant, is that Disney in itself has become so bland. And I know it's for younger children, and I know it's kind of what Disney is. And Disney was great in its heyday, it's just, it seems so tired and exhausting. And another thing that kind of bugs me about Disney Channel, I know this rant's all over the place, but, where did all the cartoons go? You can't find shows like Lilo and Stitch the series, Recess, I guess even like Little Mermaid the series, Bud Lightyear of Star Command, all the series shows, like Hercules the series. You can't find these shows anywhere anymore. They used to air on Toon Disney. I don't know, maybe some still air on on XD, Disney XD. I don't know what that channel is all about, but, the Disney Channel itself, the core Disney Channel, hardly ever airs that many cartoons, aside from, like, Playhouse Disney and all that. It seems to be, like, 6 hours in a block of straight, of the same Disney in a row. Maybe a little Phineas and Ferb here or there, which is an amazing show. But it shouldn't be the only cartoon on the network. And then the Disney Channel original movies, which... If you want to get me started on the Disney Channel original movies, those are getting just as bland as the Discoms. I, you know, they, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It just kind of feels like the Disney Channel original movies are also kind of just treaded territory. That's just kind of like, I don't know. I kind of get this vibe that Disney just isn't trying anymore. So it's very off-putting, and especially the lack of animation. I mean, there really is no excuse. It's not like Cartoon Network where it has to be all where it should be all cartoons. They can have sitcoms, but their schedule is another thing that bugs me. It is like 6 hours of the same show over and over and over again. They don't really have much variety there. It's sad, because a network without variety, well, just look at how much Nick is airing SpongeBob and iCarly nowadays. I just said nowadays. I'm getting old. Ugh. Anyway, I guess it's about time to end this rant. I'm sorry, I'm not going to use up the 15-minute mark. Trust me, I'm sure I'll be using that in quite a few future rants. But, anyway, I know this rant was all over the place. I just had a lot to say about Disney that I haven't been saying lately. I'm sure I'm going to make a supplementary to this eventually. Let me know in the comments what you guys all think about all of this, just Disney Channel in general. How it seems to be the middle of the networks right now. It's not as bad scheduling-wise, and the fact that it only airs SpongeBob and iCarly. It's not as bad as Nickelodeon has become, and yet it's not rising as Cartoon Network has become, because Cartoon Network is actually showing new things. So right now I place Disney Channel right in the middle, in the safe zone, where they're not trying anything new, but they're not necessarily horribly, horribly bad. Also, I'm going to give a shout out to Wiley1080, because I filmed this while I was pretty much chatting with him. So, random shout out. There you go. Yeah, go to my website, pieguywebs.com, and check out my other videos, and please leave a comment, thumbs up, favorite, send to your friends. Pie Guy Rules out.